Thank you for attending. My name is Abbas Tahir. I am an AI entrepreneur, and also I am the senior advisor for AI and IT for the Minister of Finance in Lebanon. Today's lecture is about the future of programming. Now that ChatGPT can code much faster and much cheaper than you, what are you going to do? That's our topic. I hope you find the lecture to be funny and also beneficial. This lecture that I have done was not generated by ChatGPT. And also, this lecture was not generated by a bot. I'm not a bot. I'm a human being. And unfortunately, the future will have a lot of that. Seriously, maybe this is the best and the most important presentation you will have in the rest of your life, because I'm trying to highlight something that's very important that will be coming in the future. And that's for all those people who are working in computing and AI. The big question today is AI fake or is it true? Unfortunately and fortunately, it is true. AI is here to stay. For you, the computer whizzes of the future, you have to embrace, adapt, as well as accept and live with this so that you will not be left behind. And this is very important, message for you. And I hope you will see at the end of this lecture what I'm trying to talk about. Let's run some statistics. Before coming to the lecture, I ran this kind of statistics. I went to ChatGPT and said, give me the breakdown of all the different usage for programmers using ChatGPT. And honestly, ChatGPT wouldn't answer my question. So I went to Copilot and asked the same question about ChatGPT. And this is what I got. You see here, code optimization is at the top. And document generation is at the bottom. And code generation is somewhere in the middle. And I believe in the future, this is going to change. Code generation will be the most important, and optimization, documentation, they will be less important, because ChatGPT and all these LLMs will be producing highly optimized code and highly documented code, so you don't need to do this again. Some examples out there. This is one of many comments I found. I went to the different groups and different, blogs, etc., and looking at what people are saying about using those LLM. And I found some interesting comments. This guy, he's saying that I just started coding 2 months ago, so he's not even a programmer. And he's asking, he's using it for Flutter front end. This is very complicated kind of software. Okay, should I continue using AI or should I learn coding? Some of you are in the computer science, you're already learning coding. So this is someone only for 2 months and he's starting to use AI. This guy, he said, I'm playing around with ChatGPT and he's finding that it is good. And he's asking, okay, should I continue or should I learn coding? And someone is answering and saying, you should be safe for the next few decades if you are actually doing some coding. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think programmers are going to be safe in the next decade. I don't think it will be even in very few years to come. Today, some of what's available out there in the market. I don't know if you know what is GitHub. GitHub is a platform where you can put your code and do code versioning and code management. They're already offering complex models, LLMs and SLMs, for free. So they're making it so easy for you to use these LLM models, complex models, to generate code. And this is really very interesting, but it also has huge effects on your future. Microsoft is putting it on the cloud, on Azure. And you can see here, creating human language description, here, translating human language description into code and reducing the time and effort for you to code. Here, automate the code generation process. So they're even putting it on the cloud and almost for free. Microsoft is putting Copilot as part of the IDE and the environment for coding. So these are going to be part, like if you know about programming and the IDEs, these IDEs used to do code complete. So as you're typing your code, it will just produce the code for it. Now you can use something like this code generation, and they will be part of your IDE. This is a code that I generated through ChatGPT 5 years ago. If I wrote some of this code on myself. This is the Jupyter notebook to analyze the Titanic data set. This is for analytics and AI. This code would have taken me maybe like 2 to 3 days to make it good. And I was generated in 2 minutes with ChatGPT. And even in ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT, can you also break it down with details and so on? So it gave me even a bigger version, and I looked at the code. It is really impressive. This paper, this is someone in academia is using ChatGPT and trying to explore, okay, how it helps the developers. So promoting here, we're promoting the enemy. The programmers and the academia are actually promoting the enemy. Honestly, as a professional with 30 years experience, I cannot keep up with what's going on. By the time you learn something new that is worth your effort and time, okay, it is already too late and is already obsolete. And this is really frightening for someone who is a professional and he is in this field for the last 30 years. This is what the field of programming is going to. Okay, it's unfortunate. This was a very famous movie in the 90s. The dumb people are us, the people who are doing the programming and development. I've never seen such a business where the smartest people in the field are putting themselves out of business as fast as they type. All these software, the ChatGPT, DeepSeek, LLMs, they are all built by programmers. So these programmers are putting themselves out of business. And this is really amazing. I've never seen it in any field. It's happening in the development and software development field. Even they are dumber to the power 10. Okay? They're helping ChatGPT to become better. This is a paper, research paper, where they're assessing the pitfalls of ChatGPT and trying to find out where is the weakness of ChatGPT so that ChatGPT becomes even better. Now that you know what is going on, let's reflect on the past. Now I will give you some of my experience and why I have this kind of thinking about the future of programming. 30 years ago, I joined the university, engineering school. On the first day of my engineering school, okay, I heard about a doctor who died. And I asked, okay, this doctor, okay, what did he do? He was in the engineering school. He said he specialized in something called the vacuum tube. These are the original on and off switches. By the time he graduated, okay, the transistor was invented. So everything he studied during 4 years of engineering was already out of date, is obsolete. So he had to start all over again. Programming yesterday was a lot of fun. Okay. Programming was cool, testing was easy, documentation was hard. I knew an old friend who was maintaining 1 million line of DBase 3 database programming. And he was Lebanese, by the way. He was living in America. 1 million line of code he was maintaining, and we used to invent things that no one thought of back then. The teachers, there are different people. The teacher will come to your class and say, look, today our class is about optimizing your LLM token experience. Believe me, it will happen. He will not tell you about programming. He will tell you, how to make ChatGPT work for you the best. Employees speaking, okay? If you are an employee working for a company, you would be asking your colleague, why should I kill myself if a machine can make it better? Okay? Or your colleague your colleague will tell you, I have no idea how to debug this code. And you might answer, let Copilot debug it for you because it's better than DeepSeek. So as if they are comparing the different LLMs and advising it. Programming tomorrow. If you're in an interview and the hiring manager will say, why should I hire you as a junior coder? Okay, what makes you so special compared to ChatGPT or DeepSeek? They will ask you. They will not even ask you anymore what makes you special compared to another person. No, they will ask you compared to ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Okay? The freelancers, they will be asking themselves, and people asking them, what should I charge for my knowledge and experience? And maybe someone is asking a freelancer, okay, how much do you charge? And the freelancer will ask, we charge by a combination of prompt time and token, okay? And this freelancer is asking himself, I'm thinking of charging 25 cents token per million token to stay competitive, because ChatGPT is asking 60 cents per million token and DeepSeek is charging 30 cents per million token. This is, by the way, this is what's happening today. Seriously, companies do not care about you. This is the serious thing. If they can hire a bot to do the job, they will not wink. They will do it immediately. Why should they spend time teaching you and training you? They're already not teaching you and not training you today. With ChatGPT, they will not even care about you anymore. How it all started. So now we are in this big thing. How did it start? It started by object-oriented code reuse. You will be learning later object-oriented programming. This is how it started. Somebody came up, why don't we reuse the code? And then they created something called CASE, Computer-Aided Software Engineering. And then after that, AT&T, in the 80s, AT&T, if you know, it's the big giant in telecom, AT&T started to use people in India to do programming for the US. So they already started to outsource. And then we started to have freeware, shareware, open source, Linux, then code complete in IDEs, email, GitHub, Stack Overflow, software engineering, internet, long distance, Zoom, all this build up to where we are now. Now we have a website, if you can go, it's called Hugging Face. You can just download an SLM or LLM and use it for your next project. And by the way, it's free. Where is it going? This whole field is going upside down. I see it. Many people will be out of business. Programmers, teachers, trainers, instructors, offline, online teaching, consultants. For sure, no new innovation will be coming from code generation. By the way, ChatGPT was not done by a code generation. It was done by programming. You know, those programmers are putting themselves out of business. Instead of programming and talking to the actual computer, you will be chatting with ChatGPT. And this is really sad. Slowly, you will drift further and further away from the computer, and you will be chatting with a software. And I don't have a word for it. I don't even have a name. Today they call it prompting. As computer science or computer professionals of the future, what can you do about it? And what new skills you need to learn? You will learn to talk to these LLMs. You will be called maybe a prompt engineer. You know, now they will call you an architect and a designer. Few days ago, I went, on this ChatGPT for, the voice recognition with ChatGPT, where you can ask ChatGPT questions. And I asked ChatGPT this same question: what is the future of program? And after a few conversation, he said, I expect the future of programming is going to be an architect and a designer. And I said to ChatGPT, I don't want to be an architect and a designer. I want to be a programmer. And he couldn't answer. They know that the future of programming is too threatened and using these LLMs. This is the reality, and you should know about it. Even all above may become obsolete very soon. No need to learn C#, C++, Python, Java. All you need to learn is a new natural programming language. Just learn to speak to in this language and write a story, and pop, you get a program. I am not sure if programming will be relevant in the future. You do not need new skills, but a new career path where machines cannot invade. Machines are going to invade the world of programming. So if you are really thinking about programming in the future of your life, really reconsider. But if you're thinking of something else, we'll talk about it. All software will look the same. Today, like cars today, if you look at the cars today, you see all the cars from all the brands look the same because they were all built by the same bot. You have the same bots running in the factories with the same software, and you end up with all the cars looking the same. I believe software in the future will look the same, and many things using these kinds of tools. A machine will be the next hacker. You can see here, a machine will be the next hacker. I do not know how we can seduce a machine or put it in jail, but that's going to be the next hacker. A positive note, thank Allah that we humans are born with different brains and come from different parents and go to different schools and have different teachers and read different books and read different news on our phone. There is hope because all this variety makes some people programmers, painters, and others doctors. And we all need each other to survive on this planet. You remember that story about the professor who graduated and then the transistor came and he was out of business. That professor became the dean of the engineering school that I attended. And he had a career path, and it was a very positive career path. So it was not the end of the world. Yes, they invented the transistor, and everything he learned over 4 years was out of date. In your case, you can build your future from now and know what's going to happen. The future of programming, specifically, you will be like the translation business, only being hired for proofreading or for verifying code for legal purposes. Today, translators, by the way, are out of business. They just go to Google Translate and you can translate everything. Now that you know your future is ahead of you, you decide what you want to do in your future. Please do not help your enemy. Please invent the next virus that only eats all the code generated by LLMs and leaves that generated by humans intact. Thank you very much, and I hope you found the presentation pleasant.
Why would programs go out of business if AI requires programming?
Okay, he's asking why would programmers be out of business if AI requires programming? AI is a small field within the whole world of computation. The world of computation, for example, today your airplane has a piece of software that's running the airplane. Okay, your car, factory, transportation, your telephone, the software in your telephone and the software in the telecom. All these might use AI, but they're not built with AI. AI is just a small thing. But the problem is that AI today with these LLMs are going to generate code for these other applications. And this is the problem. You have other questions? To build the LLM, you don't need programmer. You know, in the future, I think LLMs are going to generate other LLMs. So this is this is one of the biggest things that I see for the future is that software will be generating other software and this other software generating other software, and you might end up with multiple generations of software being generated by software. Today, most of our software is generated by humans, but soon is going to change. And already these messages that you see from the different programmers, they're saying, I've learned code. What they're telling you is that in 2 months, what they're telling you that this piece of software that they generated with ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever is now being used. So now if you go online and maybe you're using a website, maybe the code for that website is generated by an LLM, and you don't know. The thing is not if you use it, the thing is the company maintaining this software. If there is a bug or the requirements evolve and you want to bring a new programmer to maintain this code, there's no human to hand over maybe. It is just code generated by an LLM. And this is some of the complexities that will happen. And I believe they're going to solve many of these problems in the future, because now with a tick, with just the fingertip, you can generate so much code and tested, and already tested and debugged and optimized. I told you at the beginning of the presentation, this was not generated by ChatGPT or DeepSeek. And that's very important. ChatGPT and DeepSeek, they don't have the memory. I have the memory. I can take you 30 years back and tell you about an incident that happened and how this incident came in the future. ChatGPT doesn't have this memory. He's not a human. He doesn't have this experience. He doesn't ask these simple questions of humanity. And this is what makes us different. As I said in the previous slide, we humans are born different. And that's one of the most amazing things. Not only different, even us as humans, we evolve as we grow. When small kids, we have our own concept. And then as we grow, we evolve, we learn something new. And this is one of the most amazing things about humans. And I hope it will stay for a long time. And these kind of new technologies doesn't kill the spirit and doesn't affect the spirit. And the spirit will stay for us, because this is what makes us great creature. This is my conclusion. Thank you very much for attending, and hope to see you again. Thank you.